and it helped us find something we're looking for. Glory Dragon Hatchlings. Dragonlets is a land where they were. Up in the trees, the seeds of the big dragons that eat. Every year, they keep
And hello everybody, and welcome back to the Hive, and where all the buzz is for boxing news. And what I'm doing, of course, is reviving the Hive. It's been almost a year now, June 24th, since I put out the last one, and I thought I would just do a quick little report right here for us, just to get the ball rolling. So let's get right down to it. This past weekend, IBF welterweight champion Errol Spence. Let's see here what we got. Okay, there it is. All right. We're having a little bit of difficulty. Now we're going to go to the Boxing News 24 website to see what they do have reporting on that. And it might take just a moment. But Errol Spence Jr., of course, is from the Dallas, Texas area. That's where I'm from, is Fort Worth, Dallas. So he's pretty well known in this area. They were fighting at one of the training centers, I believe, of the Dallas Cowboys. So that should have been a fantastic fight. If you have Showtime on your cable subscription or on the Showtime app, you can go back on there and watch Ocampo and Spence going at it. So let's go right into this story here. This is from Eric Thomas. Errol Spence Jr. says he wanted to give the 12,600 fans that came to see him last Saturday night a real show for beating the challenger, Carlos Ocampo. Ocampo was 22-0 going into this fight with 13 knockouts. And he wanted to provide them an excellent show at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Now, Frisco, of course, is pretty close to Plano, if you know the area any well. However, the fight turned out to be a gross mismatch, with Spencer knocking out the 22-year-old Ocampo in the first round after hitting him with a hard body shot. So, again, this isn't one of those mega fights that you'll see on pay-per-view, but those are coming. This is Spence's first defense of his newly won title. He won it over in Europe almost a year ago, and so he was making a successful first defense of that title. Spence is 28, and he's half jokingly said he would have carried Ocampo if he had gotten back to his feet and continued fighting. Ocampo tried to get back up, but the pain from the body shot he absorbed was too much for him to rise to his feet. If Ocampo had been able to get back to his feet, Spence surely would have finished him off with another body shot. And again, not every time, and again, I can understand why Spence is out there defending his title against a mandatory challenger. He just won his IBF title. The last thing in the world he wants is the IBF to take it from him just that quick for not fighting one of their mandatory tomato cans. So I don't know how good of a fighter this Ocampo was prior to this championship fight. Obviously, the IBF recognized him as a viable contender. I don't know who the guy has beaten, how he got to this point in his career to challenge for the world title. Didn't sound like he was ready to challenge for it, so I'm not 100% sure why he was even in there. But again, hey, all the big guys in this area, I can remember back in 1985 when Donald Curry brought a Korean fighter over here to the Will Rogers Coliseum to fight him, and he was a WBA mandatory, so Donald Curry had to do what he had to do too. So anyway, Spence was quoted to saying he was a little disappointed. He wanted to give the crowd their money's worth. I wanted him to sustain a bit and give him some punishment, but the body shot I gave him, and it dropped him. So there you go. What that should tell you is that Spence is a great body shot, a great guy on the inside. Goes after the body, just doesn't headhunt all the time. And so it's difficult for Spence to carry fighters when they're as badly overmatched as Ocampo was. He should have been there in the first. He shouldn't have been in there in the first place fighting a guy like Spence. because he hadn't beat any top 10 or top 15 contenders to be given the number 1 ranking by the International Boxing Federation. And again, I'm not going to come out here and start pointing fingers, but it sounds like what we had back in the 80s, and that's ranking tampering. And that's what Robert W. Lee got in trouble with, the original president of the IBF. Rankings tampering. Now, I'm not going to mention who he did it for. I'm not 100% sure who he did it for, so I'm not going to accuse the man. But again, the IBF is notorious for that. Hell, for that matter, so is the World Boxing Council and so is the World Boxing Association. Let's call a spade on that. So Spence, again, like I said, he just won the title a little over less than a year ago, so he didn't want the title just taken just like that before he could make some big money defending that title. Ocampo left himself open for a hard left-hand body shot when he tried to counter Spence's previous body shot. Instead of attempting to block the second punch, Ocampo attempted to counter Spence and left himself wide open for the finishing body shot to the solar plexus. And again, depending on how well you're conditioned in your lower extremities, like anything above the belt line and up above the chest, if you've got great conditioning there, you'll be able to take it. But from what I've been able to see over the years as a boxing fan, some of these lighter weight divisions, when they deliver a body shot like that to either the solar plexus or to the liver or the kidneys or anything like that, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt big time. Now, I can remember back so far is when Oscar De La Hoya journeyed to the middleweight division, got a hold of the WBA, no, when the WBA was the WBO middleweight title, and he challenged then undisputed champion Bernard Hopkins for the undisputed middleweight title. So Hopkins nailed a big body shot to the liver, got Oscar De La Hoya out of there, and claimed all those belts at that point. So in the lighter weight divisions, body shots are no stranger whatsoever to how a fight will end. So, but we'll definitely be. Spence has also said that he thought it would go 4 or 5 rounds. If he would have gotten up, Spence again quoted he would have carried him. Spence isn't kidding. He appeared to carry his last opponent, the former light welterweight champion Lamont Peterson, to the 7th round before the fight was halted. Spence was literally toying with Peterson most of that fight. The only round in which Spence appeared to go all out was the 5th, when he and Peterson I should say, looked hurt and was on the verge of being stopped. The referee could have stopped the fight in the 5th, and no one would have complained about it because he was taking quite a bit of punishment in that thing there. So, but again, Spence obviously wants a unification with the WBA welterweight champion Keith one-time Thurman. Thurman just recently gave up his World Boxing Council title not that long ago, so he was a unified champion. I remember back on Premier Boxing Champions, it wasn't the first episode of it, but it was an early episode of the PBC where he and another fighter went for the unification of those two titles. And again, I'll be knowing these names here soon. Again, this is just me getting this out of the way. So, but yep, let's see. Spence is now taking over a number 1 spot, and Terrence Crawford has slid into the number 2 spot. Now, Crawford just got through beating Horn for his WBO welterweight title that Horn won from Manny Pacquiao in a stunning upset about a year or so ago. And this is the first time since November of 2015 that Spence has fought in Texas, and that was in Dallas. And he went up against a fighter by the name of Alejandro Barrera. Well, at least this one kid had the right name, Barrera. We all know that name resonates all throughout boxing. And so let's see what else we got going on here. Spence went after Ocampo's body, looking to wear him down, and he couldn't handle it. Ocampo's couldn't. Perhaps if Spence had known how vulnerable Ocampo's would have been to body shots, he might not have thrown them because the fight was over with too quickly. The fans didn't even get a chance to get settled in their seat before the fight was suddenly over with. And again, that obviously is reminiscing of Mike Tyson fights back when Mike was in his prime. when Mike was knocking people out almost at the weigh-in. So I can still remember the look on Michael Spinks' face as he was coming to the ring to fight Mike Tyson to unify the heavyweight championships. I mean, Tyson already had all the governing body belts, but he just didn't have the Ring Magazine belt that Michael Spinks still had from when Spinks beat Larry Holmes twice. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for right now. I just wanted to come out here and throw that shout out to everybody. Hey, I want to try to have all kind of great things on here. So get ready for that. And right now, that's just it for now. This is just a test. The Hive is here. It's back. It's not going anywhere. Once a month, starting in July, the Hive is back, and you will find out what all the buzz is about. So until then, we'll see you next time at Ringside.